Understanding Mental Illness in Children is a co-production of TPT's Minnesota channel and NAMI Minnesota.
At first I thought it was just me. Maybe it was my fault that they were like this.
I've been in the hospital for 3.5 months out of this year.
I'm not supposed to talk about this. This is not something someone should know about me, and then who am I?
We had known since he was an infant that there was a component that was behaviorally different.
Every single parent is in pain when their child is in pain. There's just no doubt about that.
Now this is my baby, the one that I'll brag about, and to me he was your typical everyday child. I was getting these calls saying that he was verbally abusive, swearing, throwing tantrums, and I was like, yeah, right, you're lying on my son, because he didn't have those behaviors at home. So that started in January, and I believe it was June 6th of '97 I saw for myself. We were out at a park over by 35E, and he was just hyper or whatever, and I told him to sit down, and my cousin's son walked past him, and he just got up and grabbed him by the neck and just threw him down on the ground for no reason. And so I'm like, oh, you done did it now. And I chased him for about a half an hour, 45 minutes. And from that day on, he was hospitalized like 5 times between June and November before I even got any type of help. And I was like, oh, my baby going crazy. And it was like it took actually 8 police officers to hold him down. And can you just imagine, it taking that many people to hold a 7-year-old down like that.
It's not something they're just trying to do to get back at anybody or somebody. They've kind of lost control of their way of doing things. It's a real change in their behavior, their mood.
We see kids who have lots of fears and worries and have difficulty controlling them. Kids who are sad a lot of the time, and it really has a big impact on the way that they function at home or at school. Especially kids who've been exposed to trauma, who have problems like recurring nightmares or night terrors or lots of sleep disturbances. Kids who may be so anxious about going to school that they actually avoid school.
Those kids who then in their 9th or 10th grade year, who've done well up until now, up until a point, then really start, for some reason, start dropping off. They don't do their assignments, they skip class, they don't come to school at all. Their parents see them, their affect has changed, their eating habits might change, their loss of conversation with one another, change of friends, any of those things. But in terms of academics, parents can look for their kids simply not wanting to come to school. That's the biggest indicator as I've seen it.
When you start talking about mental illness in children, everyone gets a little bit nervous. And people worry about, are we throwing labels on children? Are these kind of heavy-duty labels that they're going to carry with them? I think if there wasn't so much stigma surrounding mental illness, we wouldn't be so worried about using a label to describe a child.
I think to really underscore the biological roots of many of the disorders we're talking about, the term that a lot of people like to use for consistency is mental illness, and really recognize as a biological foundation an illness process and a treatment that can either be curative or can at least help to manage the disorder.
It is what it is. If you'd like to call it an emotional disturbance, a serious emotional disturbance, emotional behavior disorder, you want to just say it's a kid who has behaviors that make it difficult for them to fit in or be successful in school or home. You can call it whatever you want, but the biggest thing is to get the treatment, because you want that child to succeed.